Okay, so we continue with the next topic, which is Mu'rab and Mabni. Okay, so when we talk about status that day, there are a few things to talk about. There's one thing that I missed out, or not missed out, I purposely bring forward to now about the flexibility. Okay,
Mhm.
so isms are by default Mu'rab. Okay, meaning that the endings can change. So if you see your Muslim chart, right?
Mhm.
Rafa is Muslimun, Nasab is Man,
Mm.
Jar is Min. All the endings change. You can totally see what is a Rafa word, what is a Nasab word, what is a Jar word. Okay, so your Muslim chart is all Mu'rab, flexible. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, if they have reasons to be fixed, Mabni,
Mhm.
Mabni means that the endings don't change. For example, if you see, for example, the word Allazina in the Quran, it's always
Mhm.
Allazina. You never see Allazuna. You don't see
Mhm.
that, right? You only see Allazina. So these words, the ending don't change. Okay. So
Mhm.
isms, they are all mu'rab unless they have reasons to be Mabni. What are those reasons? Those reasons are
Mhm.
if the word, sorry, if the word resembles a harf. What is a harf again? Do you remember?
Harf, um, something that doesn't make sense on its own. A word that.
Exactly. For example, on, in.
Mm.
If I just say to you on what?
Yeah.
In what, right? So it doesn't make sense on its own. Okay. So how does it resemble a harf? Maybe because or its makeup. Okay. By default, most harfs are 1 to 2 letters. Okay. Later we do harf, you will see. And then ism is 3 letters at least. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is usually. So when an ism is 1 or 2 letters, they look like a harf, so they become mabni. Okay,
Mm.
or its meaning is similar to a harf, meaning it's not complete on its own. You need to add something to it. It's an ism, but it's not completed on its own. So
Mm.
again, it will become mabni. Or
Mhm.
if it substitutes a verb, okay, we'll talk about this later. And again, it's need of another sentence to make sense. Okay, this is how it will resemble a harf. And once it resembles a harf, it will become mabni. So maybe you're thinking, how do I know if a word is resembling a harf? Very simple.
Mhm.
There's only these categories of mabni word. Okay, pronouns are mabni. Huwa, you never see who we,
Mhm.
right? You never see antu, right? It's always anta or anti. You don't see
Mhm.
antu. Kum is
Mhm.
always kum. You don't see kumu,
Mhm.
kuma to make it nasab or something like that, right? So
Mhm.
these are all mabni. Pronouns are mabni. Okay.
Mhm.
Question words are also mabni. So mada, mata, mada is what, mata is where.
Mhm.
Okay, these are question words. They are also mabni.
Mhm.
Conditional words. So this is asma'ul shart. So if something happened, then something happened. Or whoever does this, he will get this. Okay. So like man, ma. We also have question words. Man, ma. Man means whoever. Ma means whatever in this case. But if it's a question word, it means just who. Man, huwa, who is he? Okay.
Mhm.
Ma can be just what. Mas muka, what's your name, for example. Okay. So there is manma can be in a lot of things. Okay.
Mhm.
Pointer, again, we talk about pointer just now. Hada, dhalika. Okay. This is going to be mabni. You will never see hazu, for example. You don't see that. Okay. You don't
Yeah.
see zulika. You don't see that. Okay.
Mhm.
So these
Yeah.
are mabni.
Mhm.
There's something called an ism fi'il. So, for example, this word soh. Soh means like we say in English, we say shh, quiet. Okay, when we
Mm.
say when we want to ask someone to keep quiet, we just say shh, right? We do that. So
Mm.
this is like the equivalent of shh, like that. Okay, so it means actually be quiet. So it's an ism, but it has a fi'il meaning, be quiet. Okay, so these things are called ism fi'il. There's not many, so don't worry about this at all. And then we have something called ism mausul, which is alladhi, allati, right? You never see alladha, you don't see alladhu. So all these words are mabni. Okay, only this category of words are mabni. Other than that, they will all be mu'rab. Can?
Yep,
Yeah?
inshallah. Yep.
Okay. If they are mu'rab, okay, then they will be fully flexible, right? We talk about that as in the Muslim chart. Can be light, can be heavy. Okay, this one, they cannot be light, they cannot be heavy. They only stay like that. Okay, the mabni will only stay like that. The mu'rab can be light or heavy. Most isms are fully flexible because the only category to be mabni is those just now we talk about 6, right? The
Alright.
default is mu'rab. So most isms going to be mu'rab. If you see a tanween, then definitely it's already mu'rab. Okay?
Alright.
But there are 2 categories of mu'rab. Okay, one is sahih, meaning the changes are clear. This one that we talk about always, like kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Right, the change is clear. Arudun, arudon, ardin, for example. But there are isms, okay. For example, the word Musa. Do you see Musu in the Quran?
No,
Do you see Musi in the Quran?
no.
Yes. So because of the weak letter at the end, there's an alif there. Weak letter just mean wow, alif, or ya. Okay. Because of the weak letter, this word will not change also. Okay. But it does not fall into this category. Right? It's not a Musa, it's not a pronoun, it's not a question word, it's not conditional, it's not pointer, not a fi'il, it's a name of a person,
Yeah.
right? So it's still mu'rab, okay, considered mu'rab, although the changes you don't see, okay, but you will imply the change. Okay, we won't
Alright.
talk about this for the whole of basic Nahu. We won't talk about this. We'll do this much later once we do advanced Sarf. Now we will only focus on this kind of isms. Okay, so
Alright.
this kind of isms, sometimes maybe we will see example and I will talk about it just in passing, but we won't really learn so much about this right now. Okay? Okay. So we see these words. I want you to tell me whether it's mu'rab or mabni.
Alright.
Okay? Doriban.
Doriban, so it's Doriban. Mu'rab.
Yes. Once you see tanween, you know it's mu'rab. Okay? Hudan.
Mu'rab.
Yes. Okay. But this one is like Musa. So you will never
Yeah.
see hudun. Okay? Ha.
Ha. Ha.
Ha is a pronoun. It means her or she.
Ha.
So is it mu'rab or mabni?
Mabni.
Yes, you will never see who or he. Okay, good. Next word, man. Who?
Mabni.
Good. Next word, wa na'imin.
Mu'rab.
Good. Shay'in.
Mu'rab.
Good. Makromatan.
Mu'rab.
Kitaba.
Mabni.
Why mamdi?
Kitabah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Is this
Hmm.
word light or heavy?
Like.
Can it be heavy?
Yes.
How do we make it heavy?
Kitaban.
Yes. So it can take a tanween. So once it can take a tanween, it means it's mabni or murab.
Mu'rab.
Exactly. Okay, so even though you cannot see here because the word is light, you have to think about whether this word can have a tanwin or not. Okay,
Alright. Okay.
next one, alladhi.
Mabni.
Good. Mu'minani.
Mu'minani. Mu'minani. Mu'minani. Hmm.
Okay, give me the status, number, gender type. Status,
Status is rafa,
Mm-hmm.
dual,
Mm-hmm.
masculine,
Mm-hmm.
um, comment.
Yes. So if it fits inside the Muslim table, the Muslim chart, then
Mm-hmm.
is it mu'rab or mabni?
If the Muslim chart is mu'rab.
Yes. Remember,
Mm,
mabni,
yeah,
only the category like pronoun is a
yeah,
mausul. Other than that, it's all going to be mu'rab. Okay?
alright, alright.
Yahya.
Yahya is mabni.
Why mabni?
Yahya.
This is a name of a person, right? Yahya.
Oh ya, mu'rab. Even though dia tak boleh
Yes, even though you cannot see, you will always be Yahya, you never see Yahyu, you never see Yahyi, right? But it's going to be, think about Musa. It is still Mu'rab, just that you don't see it. Okay? Aliman.
mu'rab.
Good. Salihun.
Mu'rab.
Rabbu.
Mu'rab.
Ash-shamsa.
Syamsa. Asyamsa is mabni.
Why mabani?
Asyamsa. Oh, but kan is flexible.
Tell me your
Hmm,
thought process. Why you think it's mabani?
because it's Asyamsa, not
You don't see tanwin.
yeah.
Okay, so there's no tanwin here because, why? Remember I
There's alif
said,
lam.
yes, you cannot have and the together,
Yeah.
right? Shamsa means sun. You cannot
Sun.
say the sun or
Mhm.
the sun, right? You can only say a sun or the sun. Okay?
Alright.
So alif lam cannot have a tanwin anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
but if you take out the alif lam, then yes, you can put a tanwin on sham, and then
Mhm.
so it's mu'rab or mabni.
So it's mu'rab.
Exactly. Next one. Al-muhtadi.
Al-muhtadi. Okay. Um, this is mu'rab.
Okay, this is interesting. So give me the status, number, gender, type. Status first.
Status is jar.
Why
Uh,
jar?
ina no. Ina. Nasab or jar.
Yes, this is nasab or jar. So
Yeah.
this, you know, is actually
Mu'rab.
from ina. Yes, you said just a mu'rab is correct. Okay,
Oh yeah.
this is actually ina. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is nasab or jar. What's
Hmm.
the number?
Number nasab or jar. Ina. Plural.
Yes, gender.
Gender masculine.
Good. Type.
Proper.
Good. That's one. Ma.
Mabni.
Good. Kaifa.
Mabni.
Yes, so here we have a three-letter word, right? But kaifa means how. It's a
Mhm.
question. So it's going to be mabni. You don't see kaifu, you will see kaifa. Okay?
Mhm.
Next one, hadha.
Mabni.
Good. Muallamun.
Mu'rab.
Good. Jannatin.
Mu'rab.
Madinatin.
Mu'rab.
Lutan.
Mu'rab.
Bushra.
Bushra. Bush. Mu'rab.
Yes, because it's not a question word, it's not
Yeah.
it's a mausul, not a pronoun, not all those categories. Okay? Just
Mhm.
like Musa. Good. Ken, so far any questions?
No questions.
Okay. Uh, move on a bit more. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I'm gonna teach you Irab, which I'm sure you have already forgotten.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do you still remember what Irab is?
Um. No.
Okay. Irab is basic. Okay. Irab here in this chart just means the rafa, nasab, or jar. That is Irab status basically. But
Mhm.
Irab is also the grammatical analysis. Okay, so every sentence you can do a grammatical analysis of the sentence so that you know what is the role of each word in the sentence so that you can translate properly. Okay, so I'm going to teach you on Irab. Why? Because, for example, if you're looking at the Quran, and you don't understand why this ayah is translated this
Hmm.
way, okay, you can
Hmm.
open Irab books, okay, and then try to understand their grammatical analysis, okay. But I have to
Mhm.
teach you because they say things like this, and if you're not taught, you would not understand it, okay.
Hmm.
So we are now talking about the Irab of Ism with clear status. Remember just now we have Ism that don't change, like Musa, like Yahya. Okay, we're not talking about those. We are talking
Mhm.
about the one that we can change the status. Okay, Muslimun, Kitabun can become Kitaban, all those words. Okay,
Mhm.
so if it's Rafa status, we will
Mhm.
say Ism Marfu
Yep.
wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-dhammah. Okay, but this is the full one, okay, but we're going to use the shortcut version. We're just going to say this whole thing wa alamatu raf'ihi, we change with just a ba. So ism marfu bil dhamma, bil dhamma,
Hmm.
bil dhamma. Okay,
Mhm.
it just means
Yeah.
that
Oh.
this word is marfu in status, rafa in status, and the sign of the rafa is the dhamma.
All right. I'm starting to remember.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
here is a mansub. What's the sign of the mansub?
بالفتحة.
Yes. So here, this is actually supposed to be with an alif. This is a
Mhm.
typo. Okay. Bil
Mhm.
fathah. Okay. Although it is two dhamma, two fathah, we don't mention that. We don't say dhammatain. Okay. Because it can be light, so there's only one dhamma, right? So whether it's light or heavy, we're just gonna say bil dhamma, bil fathah, and when it's jar, it's a majrur bil.
اسم مجرور بالكسرة. كسرة.
Yes. Okay. One thing you need to remember, this
Mhm.
is the default sign of Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. Okay. The default sign for Rafa is Dhamma. The
Lama.
default sign for Nasab is Fathah.
Pas.
And the default sign for Jar is
Kasrah.
Kasrah. Yes. Okay. For
Mhm.
the duals, okay, you know it is mostly mani. You know dual when you say ani, aini, you see the ending combination. Okay. But in
Mhm.
Arab, you say it is ism marfu bil alif. Okay, the letter
Ya, ada alif.
before the nun. Remember,
Mhm.
the nun can be dropped, right? It can be
Mhm.
become light. So the
Mhm.
sign is not the nun, it's the alif. Okay,
Yep.
bil alif. The default sign of Rafa is Dhamma, right? So
Yep.
whenever the sign of the status is not Dhamma, then we
Mhm.
say niyabatan an.
Ya,
Okay,
but
niyabatan an. Niyabatan means substituting. Okay, and then
fifteen.
niyabatan an will always be
Mhm.
followed by the haraka that we expect for that status. We expect dhamma for rafa, so we say
Mhm.
niyabatan anil dhamma. Okay, and
Alright.
then we have to say why. Why is it alif? Why doesn't it get the default sign? Because the annahu, it is a musanna, a dual word.
Mm.
It cannot
Yep.
take a dhamma.
Mhm.
Understand?
Understood. Yep.
So here is a mansub. What's the sign of the mansub?
Dia.
Yes, bil ya. And
Mhm.
then ya is not the default sign of nasab. What is the default sign of nasab?
It's the fathah.
Yes, so we say niyabatan anil
Fathah.
fathah. Okay,
Mhm.
why? Li'annahu musanna. Okay,
Mhm.
same thing for jar. Except that you say ism majrur, still be ya, niyabatan anil kasra
Kas.
now. Yes, because we
Mhm.
expect that for majrur. And then
Yeah.
li'annahu musanna. Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
for the jama', again,
Mhm.
we look at the letter before the nun because the nun can be dropped. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is ism marfu bil what?
Ism marfu bil waw.
Yes. Again, wow is not the default sign of
Mhm.
Rafa. What is the default sign of Rafa?
Batan anil dhamma.
Exactly. Then
Mhm.
the anahu, why? Why is it the case?
Nahu
Why doesn't it
jamak
get them?
muzakkar salim.
Exactly. Why is Jamak Muzakkar Salim?
Jamak muzakkar salim.
Jamak means?
Jamak means plural.
Muzakkar,
masculine
salim. Sound.
sound.
Sound
Okay.
masculine plural. Sound here means intact, meaning the word muslimun, right? You just add una to become the plural. So the singular word is intact. Okay, that's why it's called sound masculine plural. It's not a broken plural. Okay, it's a sound plural. And then for muslimina, nasab
Mhm.
and jar, what is the sign?
The ism the ya.
Yes, bilya. And then niyabatan anil
Mm,
fathah for the mansub. And
mhm.
niyabatan anil kasrah for the majrur. Okay,
Yes.
again, li'anahu jamak muzakkar
Yes.
salim.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
can you
All right.
remember this, inshallah?
Oh, yes.
Okay, of course, you don't have to memorize all this. Okay, you just have to understand what this is saying in the Arabic. Okay, you don't have to memorize this. You have to understand what the Arabic is saying. Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
for the feminine, okay,
Mhm.
same thing. So it's muslimatun tantin. So obviously it's gonna be marfu bil dhamma, bil
Mhm.
fathah, bil kasra, just like the masculine one. Okay,
Mhm.
we don't talk about it being feminine in Arab. We don't have to mention that. The fact that there's a tamarbuta, you know that is feminine. Okay,
Yep. Mhm.
same thing for the dual muslimatani. Again, what's the sign for the marfu here?
The alif.
Yes, and for the nasab and jar will be the
Yeah.
yes. So we say the same thing. It's a marfu bil alif, mansub
Mhm.
bil ya, majrur bil ya. It's not the
Mhm.
default. So niyabatan anil dhamma or fathah or kasrah, and then the annahu musanna. So exactly the same as the dual masculine. Okay, because
Mhm.
the ta tells you feminine, but in Arab we don't talk about it at all. Okay.
Mhm. Yep.
The one that's a bit different is the jama muannas. Okay, so
Mhm.
here you have atun, atin, atin, right? It is an
Yeah.
ending combination, right? But it is tanwin also, right?
Mhm.
So the sign of atun is still dhamma as usual.
Mm.
Okay, so even though you have to look at the ending combination to know the plural, the number and the gender, okay,
Mhm.
but i'rab, the i'rab wise, rafa is
Mhm.
just by the dhamma. Okay, so it's ism marfu bil dhamma. Okay,
Mhm. All right.
ism majrur bil kasrah.
Terserah.
Okay, ism
Mhm.
mansub
Mhm.
bil
Bil fathah. Ism mansub bil fathah.
but you don't see a fatha. It's atun, atin, atin. Right? So
Hmm.
here, what do we say? We say it's a mansub bil kasra. That's what we see.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but is
Um,
kasra the default sign for nasab?
no. So niabatan anil fathah.
Exactly. Li'annahu,
Jama' muannas salim.
yes, you understand? Okay,
Yes.
this one, dhamma is the default sign. So we don't have to mention niyabatan. This
Uh-huh.
one is kasra. So
Mhm.
it is majrur. So we don't have to mention that. Only the atin, if it's mansub, we have to mention this. Okay?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if you understand that the default sign is dhamma, fathah, and kasrah, then whenever you have the sign that is not dhamma, fathah, or kasrah, then you use the term niabatan. Okay?
Alright. Insyaallah.
This one you just have to understand for now. Inshallah, when we do much more exercises, when we start to do i'rab, then it will all, inshallah, come together. Okay?
Mhm. Alright.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, so we have finished our class for today. A bit
Mhm.
early. So if you have no questions, then I'll see you on Friday, inshallah.
Alright.
Subhanakallahumma bihamdika la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik.
Mm.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much.
No problem.